Good morning. I'm wondering if you're able to hear me. If you can, go to the chat room and just let me know. Perfect. Okay, so we got a minute to go and we'll get started. Are you able to see the home page of our course? Perfect. Okay, thanks so much. We'll wait for 2 more minutes and get this thing going. Won't take too long, probably half hour or so. We can budget that amount of time. If you want to refill your coffee real fast, you can do that. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome to Gerontology 400 Summer Edition. This is roughly a 6-week course, which means that every 2 days are going to be the equivalent of a week in a normal semester. So it goes by pretty quickly. If you'll stay current with everything, you're going to do just fine in this class, and hopefully walk away with a lot of tools in the toolbox you'll be able to use for the rest of your life. Anybody who has their mic keyed up, if you wouldn't mind shutting the mic off for time being, that would be great. So, Gerontology 400. I've been teaching this class since the beginning. I guess I created the online version of it about 11 years ago. I'm reasonably new to academia. I came back to school in 06, and I was already in my 60s. I had a full career in private industry, both in IT and the hotel hospitality industry. And coming here and doing this job is probably the best thing I've ever had a chance to do, because I feel like I have an opportunity to make a difference with people. I've got a lot of experience on the job training, as they call it, for aging. So the picture you see of me there was taken about 25 years ago. I put it up because it has special significance to me. The person who took it, close friend. And then there's a depiction of old people having fun, I guess, except maybe the first one. So here's my name and here's my email address. This is probably the best way to reach me. I'm happy to meet with you on campus if you happen to be on campus and want to talk about something. We'll set that up ahead of time. With this online summer session, it's really just going to be an arrangement between you and I when we meet. I'm usually here most days, so it doesn't much matter. And here's some steps in addition to what I'm going to tell you in this orientation to consider to get started with the course. So we're good. We're up to around 16 participants, which is about what I normally get this time of morning. And as I said in my messages, this is being recorded, so you'll be able to watch it the entire semester. the home page, I typically put the calendar in here, and it'll let you know what's coming up, what dates and things, and I'll explain all of these things as we get into the course a little bit deeper. A little welcome message, and then one of the big things I found over the years that plague students online is kind of out of sight, out of mind. So it's easy to procrastinate with this course or any online course, and I'm going to recommend highly that you don't do that, because it's moved so fast that you'll be able to find yourself in the weeds behind pretty quickly. And then from time to time, I'll add different news items as they come up, if they're relevant and of interest, or I think they're of interest to you. I think I want to start with content. And a lot of classes you take, there's tons of stuff in content. I don't design my classes that way, and you'll see the difference here in a little bit. So I have a kind of just some of the basic things that you need to know about in content. I'm going to open up the syllabus. It'll take a couple seconds to open. So this is what I've done. There's two sections that are combined, so it's a bigger class than normal, which I prefer because then everybody gets the same message. These are the course learning objectives overall. Here's the book. It's available in a couple of ways. The ebook is one way, and it's the cheapest way. You can also buy a combo package where you get a hard copy and an ebook, and two of you can split the costs and then argue over how you sell a book back and who gets what. That's one possibility. It's not too expensive. We created a custom version of the book a few years ago, which keeps the price down, and it's about 12, 13 pages less than the regular book. Grading's pretty much straight ahead. 90% is an A. We have 500 points in this class. In the summer, I try to keep things pretty simple. And then all of the normal kinds of things you see in syllabi. There's a couple of things you'll be writing for in the Dropbox, and I need to let you know up ahead that those documents will be scanned for originality, so be original. And you're really writing about your personal things anyway, so there shouldn't be too much. No two of you have the same grandmother for sure. Exactly. Maybe you're related and you do, but that would be the only way. So attendance in an online class really boils down to participating in all of the activities and discussion board postings and doing the assignments. I don't take attendance in any other way in online. Here's some withdrawal information. If you're something comes up for you, you have to get away. If you want a different name, gender, pronoun, I'm fine with that. For me, if you want to call me Casey, that's fine. That's what I've been all my life, and I don't need any other acclamations. I don't have a doctorate. I have 2 masters, one in gerontology, one in academic technology. So I work with both areas on campus. I work with faculty to use technology to teach with. One of the things I talk to them about is exactly what we're doing now in an online class to get everybody on the right foot right from the beginning. So there's privacy and accessibility statements, what you're expected to know, and I think by now you're upper division class people, so you're going to have a computer, you're going to know how to use Word and use email, things like that. There's not any real heavy duty thing. If it's a Windows computer, Chrome or Firefox are the best. For Macs, it's probably Safari or Firefox, latest version. A lot of this course, about 300 points of the course, 60% of the course are going to come from discussion boards. So here's a rubric. It's embedded in the syllabus on how to score the maximum points. There are five, no, there's four of them, the discussion boards that are worth 50 points, and there's one due tomorrow, or actually today, and then one at the end of the semester that are kind of softballs. You'll do well if you write it yourself, and they're worth 25 points. But basically, there's that, and then we have a life review assignment. So what I want you to think about now, since we have such a short time frame, is to identify an older adult that by the end of the semester I'm going to ask you to interview and make an assessment of that person based on a theory that we'll talk about a little bit later, another week or two, called the biopsychosocial theory. And so what you're really going to do is interview somebody and find out a little bit about their life. And when you do the interview, it's really kind of a snapshot at the time of the interview of their entire life, which is considerably longer than the snapshot would be. And so you're going to just kind of connect the dots. So if they smoked when they were younger, for example, and they have COPD now, there's a connection there, and that's an obvious one. But there's many more subtle ones that we'll talk about as we go a little bit deeper into the class. So this is a kind of a detailed explanation on how to write the paper. And so we won't worry about that now, but I want you to start thinking about an older adult for a couple of reasons. One, for that life review, which is sort of the signature assignment. And I will tell you that in the past, many of my students have told me it's the best thing they ever did, especially if they interview a grandparent. And the deal with that is you set it up so that the grandparent believes this is a very important assignment for you, which it is, and get them by themselves. And if you're going to interview grandma, don't interview grandpa at the same time, because you'll just get in the middle of an argument. So, and you will discover things about that grandparent that you had no idea about. You never would have heard over the dinner table. Also in the content is the course schedule. And it's pretty simple. I really keep things simple in the summer. So today is the 8th, and we're doing a live class session as I speak. And tonight I'm going to ask you to do your first reflection, and I'll show you where that is and what I'd like you to write about. It's mostly about you. So as I said, this is one of the softball assignments. Everybody should do really well, because you know you're the expert about you. And then each week, and so then the next day, and this is the format all the way through the course on these discussion boards, is I want you to respond to at least one other student. And the response should not be, "Oh, that was a great post, John," but rather I'd like you to discuss what John said and either continue his discussion or offer an alternative in a respectful manner. And this has worked really well. It kind of personalizes the course a little bit on a course that we typically don't ever see each other. There's not something due every day or every week even. Well, probably every week, yeah. So that's the first one, and we'll go through, and it's all done in modules. This is module 5. I should probably fix this chart up a little bit. So there's another reflection due here on the 16th, and a response the following day. The first 3 controversies. Our book is designed to take a look at aging through the lens of various controversies and ideas that people have. So you can see that pretty much everything I do is in the discussion board. And so that's how it goes. There'll be no final exam. but there's actually no exams in this course. We kind of got away from them. But your life review paper will be due on the 14th of August, which is the last day of the course. All right, let's move on to. So there are certain items, certain assignments you'll be putting in Dropbox, and those are the life review papers. So it's divided into two parts. Part one is you're going to kind of put a proposal together. You're going to decide what you want to learn from the person you're going to interview, write up a series of questions that you want to ask to be able to get to the answers you're looking for. And then and that's due end of the month. And then the life review paper itself, as I said, is due the end of the semester. And also in the Dropbox and the discussion board is a 3-2-1 evaluation of the course. I use this information to literally change the course as I hear from you guys. So that's at the end of the semester. Let's go to the grade book first, and we'll finish up with the discussion board. So the grade book is, in summary, as I say, I keep it simple. There are 7 discussions. So this first one is due today, 25-pointer. And then the next ones are bigger, and you can look at the rubric to see what's expected here, and the prompts are pretty specific as well. And then the life review paper is 50 points for your proposal and 150 for your life review paper itself at the end. So there's a total of 500 points, 450 and above gets you an A. If you apply yourself and put yourself into the course on a personal level, and most courses you've got to know things like when Edison was born, things like that. I really don't care about that. What I do care about is why Edison might have been important, and in our field, that's really what this is all about. So, any questions so far? You can type them in, or some of you got mics keyed up. All right, good. I guess I'm pretty clear so far. A lot of people would think that unusual. Okay, so the discussion board, by design, courses, is everything is there in the discussion board. You don't have to navigate all over the course to find stuff. So it's a series of forums and topics. The first one is Ask and Answered. So if you have a general question about the course, about the board, anything that's not kind of a personal thing, go ahead and post your questions here. I monitor this closely, and odds are pretty good that if you have a question about the course, there are other people in the class who have the same question, and so everybody will be able to come here and take a look at what the responses are. And if you, further into the course, see a question that you know the answer to, you're sure about, go ahead and answer it. I'm fine with that too. The more involvement you guys have in the course, the more you'll get out of it, the more I get out of it. So then first module, which is what we're going to be dealing with today and tomorrow, is getting started. So I'm going to ask you to create a profile, put a picture in there, so every time you post, I can kind of make a connection with that. And you'll make connections with each other, even though you may not ever see each other in person. Although I've run into students that I recognize them from their photos, and it's kind of fun to do walking around campus. So the objectives here, you're going to create the profile, you're going to know the organization and requirements for the course, and you're going to be able to discuss the field of gerontology a little bit. And so there's the course schedule and the syllabus, which I showed you. The getting started steps are on the home page. And here's an article that I'd like you to have a look at. Then I want you to write what your expectations are for this course. I know a lot of you are taking it because you have to take a capstone writing intensive class, or you're a nursing student, you have to take it. I don't want you to feel like you have to take it. I want you to walk out of here at the end of the semester saying, boy, I'm glad I did take that class. Also, I'd like you in this reflection in your bio, tell all of us about what older adults are in your family, grandparents or aunts or friends of the family, and get an idea about what your exposure is to older adults. So reflection that is due tonight at 11 o'clock, and it'll be posted right here under post module 1. And then tomorrow, you're going to go back to the same way and find a posting or two that you liked and found interesting and respond to those students as well. And so this is kind of what this is all about here. And then each week or each couple days we have a different module. Most of the time you won't have anything to do. So it'll say here, no reflection today. So for next module 2, there's nothing to do other than to read the text and the various assignments that are in here, and everything is linked. I've checked all the links. Hopefully it works. And we go through these different controversies. All of these are linked directly to recordings or text. Again, no reflection today. All the way through until module 5. And all of these are resources. These are the pages to have a look at in the text. In module 5, it asks you another prompt, 2 or 3 double page pages is plenty. And this asks you to imagine that you're 80 years old and discovered it's kind of running out of time and you need to have some conversations with people. And then this one, it's kind of difficult for some of you because you're 22 and thinking about the age of 80 is, well, when I was 22 it was inconceivable, but I can relate to it. So that'll take some imaginative powers, and we'll just go through the course like that. Everything is in the discussion board, and if you do have any questions, please, you can ask. How long is the response? Okay, so the response, example outline of life review. Yeah, maybe I'll find something for you. Read all of the instructions on the life review first, because I think that'll clarify most of what is going to be required for that. And the response should be, a paragraph, double-spaced paragraph would be fine, and that will kind of cover all of the things that you need to say. You don't need to write a long, extended missive about what's going on. I really don't. It just kind of, people don't respond very well to long-term stuff. So, yeah. Page is the same in the regular text and the customized one. No, they're not. So if you have a regular one, you're going to have different page numbers, and all of a sudden you're going to run out of pages. So if you have that book, you can probably get through the course. Just read the whole chapters. You'll end up reading more than other students. Anything else? Okay, so 18 of you came in. That's good. I'm happy about that. As I say, this will be recorded. It'll take probably 10, 15 minutes to render, and then I'll post it into the content area as the orientation video, or maybe I'll put it on the homepage, one of the two. So hopefully you have the book. Get started. Well, you don't need the book today, but the other thing that I want I'm glad you asked about the responses, because that's and the question, the reflections generally. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, and you'll see this in the rubric, is to also find 2 outside sources that address the topic we happen to be talking about. Now, this first one, your bio, you don't need to do that. And the last one, the 3, 2, 1, you don't need to do that. But all the ones in between, you'll be graded on having that. And of these outside resources, they are things that are not in this course. So you might find another video, you might find another article about people ending their own lives, in this case, Module 9. And I also want you to, one of your outside resources to be an older adult, and you just kind of have a contact with them and say, so grandpa, if it's grandpa, what do you think about people taking their own lives? And use that as one of your references. In your text, you can call it a personal communication, and that'll let me know that you've talked to somebody. And then at the end of your text, this is APA style, and there's a resource in the get to it, I'll show you, in the course that deals with APA. It's under content. And I'm really not too concerned about the formatting of APA. All I really want you to do is look at the citations and the references of APA. So if you use some information from some other source, give that person credit in your text, and also have a matching reference below at the end of your text, area called references. Some of you may be familiar with works cited. It's the same kind of thing. And that's very important. And then pay attention to timing, and you'll guess. Is there anything else that I can share with you? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.